Hello, everybody. Welcome to Echo Underground. I am Shanique.
This is Mike.
And on this podcast, we talk about movies, music, and any other interesting
Whatever.
topic. Oh, I forgot
Oh, it's like that.
about you. Yo,
I'm starting to think I got fired or something. Like I don't know how. That didn't
yo.
last long.
I'm sorry. What else do we talk about, Michael?
No, 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 no. I mean, you already know.
You already know what we talk about apparently, so you can go tell them what we talk about now. You know, so you want to take it upon yourself to volunteer that information to everybody that I could have done. But you know what? Whatever. Why save you the trouble, huh? I'm playing, guys. I don't know why I'm being so salty right now.
All right. Since Michael don't want to say what we talk about, we just gonna move right in. Hit us up on Twitter at Echo You Podcast. Today's episode is gonna be about. This is the first time on this podcast, but we're gonna do the band 5 Seconds of Summer and their new album Youngblood. Now I'm gonna give this album an A. There is nothing wrong with this album. I think you can listen from start to finish and not get bored. They're they're definitely a pop rock type of band, even though I think they would probably get offended by that title, but they it's very catchy. I think they had a lot of good written songs. I loved how they sound. And I think a couple of the songs they switched who was singing lead, and I thought that was pretty cool. Or that guy can like manipulate his voice hella well. One of one or the other. But I thought it was just a fun album. I wasn't bored, and it was very easy to listen to. So definitely an A. What do you give this album?
I'm also giving this album an A. I had a hard time having any issues with the album, and the songs went through pretty much fine for me. They were all like pop rock summer hits, and they all had their own little flair to it. Obviously, some I like more than others, but there's no song that I like straight up was like, I'd rather it not be there. There's not a lot of filler songs in this album as well. Like a lot of songs, like a lot of albums, they just have like fluff in there to like pad space. And I was like, okay, 16 songs, pretty average amount for an album. Everything kind of just went through the way it should have. I think everything went according to plan here. Granted, like there's no like new experiences to be found here, but I'm not a 5 Second Summer guy, so I've never heard of them, and this kind of was a new experience to me. Sounds are familiar to like other like big names, but like they just did what they did well, so I can't really argue with that. They get an A for it.
Definitely. All right. So my number three is "Woke Up in Japan." I love the
Oh,
vocals
that's a
on
good one.
this. Yeah, I love the vocals on this track. I don't know why, but it's one of my favorite vocal like performance. I don't know if it's the same guy that's been leading a lot of these songs, but he sound hella good on it, especially in the chorus. The chorus is where his voice actually shine. Um, it kept me interested. It's very catchy. The guitar is also really good in this track, and to me, I just had a lot of fun listening to it. To the point I wanted to listen to again. So yeah, Woke Up in Japan. What do you think of Woke Up in Japan? Unless it's in your top three.
It's not in my top three, and I can happily say that a lot of the songs on this album fought for top three really hard, and this one was one of them. Vocals, this one was also excellent. Instrumental behind it was pretty good too, because I really liked the initial build up in the song where it's like they were like I think like one instrument playing behind his voice and like all the other ones kicked in behind it, and I was like, oh man, I'm really feeling this shit. And then the chorus also dope. He hits the "Woke Up in Japan" notes really well, and everything from like the hook and the bridge and everything. Like solid song all the way through. Definitely one of my top runners for top three as well. I have another honorable mention behind my top three, but this one fought extremely hard. Like how when you watch a race and everyone is like finishes within the same 8 seconds or whatever, it was that tight. Like this one, I feel like will be someone's favorite song at some point.
Definitely. What is your number three?
My number three, let me see. I didn't really organize my three in a top three, but I'm trying to figure out how I want to put it though. I'm gonna put my number three as More. Now, I'm putting More because More was the one I think that hits rock the most, and it does it well because it still has some pop elements in there. And I feel like it's a combination of a lot of elements kind of worked in his favor. Everything from like the little the hard start that it hits you with to remind you that hey, we do this stuff too, that we're not just all pop. I feel like it was a pretty cool reminder because that's kind of the feeling I was getting for literally the rest of the album. So this one stood out to me.
Okay, yeah. More to me stood out because I definitely agree. It has the most rock beat on the entire album. It's just straight up guitar, and the chorus is so good. That's one thing. This album had a lot of good choruses that you
Yeah,
can just sing
definitely.
along to, and you don't even know why you're singing, but it's that good. And the guitar on the record is just amazing, and the lyrics were good too. You were gonna say something?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. But yeah, Moore's a good pick. I actually like that. Actually, every song would have been a good pick because this album is really that good. Number two for me though is "Moving Along." Moving
Do I have
Along.
that? Let me see. I don't, but go ahead though. That's fine. I
Okay.
like that song too.
Moving Along is kind of interesting because when you listen to the lyrics, he's like, it's funny. It's titled "Moving Along," but it's like, is it bad that I wish you were alone, depressed, and have nobody? and it's, and it's
Right.
a little bit savage. It's like kind of the opposite of moving along. But when you listen to it more, you kind of get it. He does kind of the sing rap thing he does in there, so I like it. It's like you're not really singing, but you're not really talking your words. It's a weird combo, and a lot of rock group does that, and some pop artists do it too. His vocals were on point. It's catchy. It makes you start to sing it, and you don't even realize. And oddly enough, despite the lyrics, you can dance to the song. Surprisingly. So yeah, moving along is like a surprise one for me. I think the way he sang it was probably different than a lot of the other songs on the album as well. What do you think of moving along?
The slower paced parts of this song are probably found some of my favorite parts. Like there are a lot of really good uses of bass guitar on this album, and I'm a sucker for bass guitar because I feel like it picks up during the chorus, but like it leaves like the slower pace parts for the verses, and I think it worked very well. It's like a really stark contrast that they had with another podcast we did for a rock band, where like pretty much all they did was like really solid ass build ups, and I was like, okay, this is really good because everything from what Shanique said about the little sing elements that they had, it worked. The little strong moving along parts worked with the chorus because, like we already said, choruses are dope on this album. But and also, yeah, she goes out about the little sus ass lyrics once in a while, where like he just want you to be, you know, unhappy, I guess, or just miserable in general.
Hmm.
Not particularly what I call moving along, but it's fine. It's good music.
Yeah, maybe they meant like moving along, like I'm moving past you, but I still want you to be miserable in the back. Maybe that's what they meant.
That's not moving past. If you want somebody to be miserable, you're not moving past anything. You're still just like
Hey, they're
mad.
saying, you know what? Hey, I want to be happy and not be into you, but I wouldn't be mad if you were like miserable and alone. I'm just saying. That's
Oh wow.
what it said, though. That's what he's basically saying. Which, hey,
That's a very particular thing to want to point out about someone if you're moving on from them. Like, granted, I'm over you. I just want you to be unhappy, though. Like, no, it doesn't ring moving on to me, but I digress.
it doesn't say moving on. It says moving along.
Moving
So,
along. I know, I get it, I know. But I'm in my head is registering as moving on because of the context.
yeah. But the way he's saying that part was kind of funny when I was like, damn, you must have really not liked this person. But, what is your number two?
My number two, I'm gonna give it to Empty Wallets.
Hmm.
Now, it's one of those songs where like on the chorus, like the chorus is like really punchy on this album, but this one is one of the ones that's like a little more like a little more reclusive because it depends on maybe like one instrument for them to sing empty wallets. And I was like, okay, you know what? And I also started to realize too, even regardless of the pace of whatever song they have on this album, I was a fan of everything from like the slower paced ones to the faster paced ones to the more pop to the more rock. And this one just fell into one of the more like reserved categories. And I was like, okay, I kind of dig it. It's a unique sound I didn't really expect to be familiar with the rest of the album that I've gone through so far, especially with the bass guitar that was like still hitting during some of the verses, and I was like, yeah, y'all big good use of bass guitar, and I appreciate that shit.
Okay, cool. Empty Wallet is a interesting song as well. It kind of feels. It sounded to me like a '90s alternative rock band type song, and I'm okay with that because I love the '90s. I thought the music, to me, that's the best decade for all types of music so far. And the song's basically about going broke for the person you're with, which you should never do. Hey, be like, babe, I can't afford it. They should understand. Catchy chorus, love the beat, and I was just having fun with this song. I was surprised I was gonna have fun with this song. A lot of these songs surprised me and how much I actually enjoyed it. All right, well, time. Guess my number one, Mr. Brown.
Meet you there.
No, Youngblood. It's my number one.
Every time this happens to me, I should have just went with my gut. I'm like, no, she's trying to reverse psychologize me. She knows I'm gonna think it. Little did I know it's a reverse psychology thing going on. I'm like, no, I should have went with Youngblood. That's my first guess. I win because that was my first guess, and I just said the wrong thing. I win.
Okay, he doesn't win, but anyway. All right, so Youngblood to me is the perfect combination of what they were going for in this album. It has a lot of rock elements to it, especially on the chorus, but it has the potential to be a pop crossover song. And the vocals are just so amazing. It's a perfect way to intro this album, and it's also the title song. So this song gives you a really good strong indication of the rest of the album, and it stuck with me the most. And I understand why this is a single for them. Like I was like, yeah, I would definitely release this one as a single. It's such a great song, especially the chorus and the dependent on. It kind of had what More has and what my number two has combined. It's the feel of both of them combined, and I like that. But it sounds unique at the same time. So yes, Youngblood is my number one. Now, if your number one is not Youngblood, then I'm gonna guess. There's so many good choices here.
Yeah, there really are. This one I really don't think you're gonna get. If you get this one, it's literally by sheer luck.
Um, there's so many good choices. I think it's either Want You Back or Monster Among Men. I'm gonna go with Monster Among Men.
Neither.
Which one? Okay, which one is it?
Now, keeping with the train of like slower, more like bass-heavy songs. And this is one I didn't even think I was gonna like. I ran through this. I had time to run through the song a couple times. No, not a couple times, one and a half times. And this song came out twice, pretty much. But my number one song is actually going to be Valentine. Good bass. One of the slower paced ones. I didn't think I was gonna get into it first when the song first started. But then like the more the verses went on and the chorus went on, I was like, oh wow. And then I don't know if it was either a bass or there was a guy doing that thing where it might have been like him doing like a really deep beatboxing kind of sound. I don't know if it's a bass guitar or if it's this guy's mouth making notes. But either way, it sounds pretty dope. It's definitely one of the slow paced ones that I really fell for. Nothing really too punchy about it. It was pretty reserved, and I feel like that's kind of my favorite aspect of this band right here. Like I don't really know. Wow, I just realized something.
What?
When people talk about Five Sauce, they meant these guys. No, because you know why? In my head, I'm thinking the word sauce, and I'm looking at the album cover now. I'm like SOS. I'm like, oh, Five Sauce. Okay. Well, anyways, me and my three active brain cells aside, this is an excellent song. My favorite song on the album. Number one, Shanique.
Okay.
Why did you not know that this song meant Five Sauce?
I didn't know. I don't know anyone that calls them Five Sauce. So.
No. Oh, okay. So I'm not alone. Okay, no. Okay, I've heard it before though, but I know people who are big fans of them call them Five Sauce.
Oh.
I thought you'd know about this, to be honest.
I knew of the band, but I didn't know that their fans called them that name. You know what I mean? But hey.
Okay. Well, the only reason I'm putting this song is because I thought you knew this and I didn't, but that's fine.
No. Before
I
I
don't
get
feel
into
so bad.
Before I get into Valentine, what do you think of Youngblood? Because I didn't let you. You didn't talk about it, so.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Youngblood. Youngblood was a really good intro. I feel like it was a really good hybrid of their pop and rock sound that they were kind of like previewing for the rest of the album, which they did a good job of. Because they kind of kept to that general bass line to like come back to, and they did an excellent job with it. Like as far as like setting the tone for what you're about to get into, that was a pretty ideal opener. And especially when you're opening with your title song on top of that, and it's still dope. Good job. This is what I like to see from title openers. Because you're killing two birds with one stone for me, and you get extra brownies for that. So brownie points. Haha, no brownies. No brownies for you, Shanique.
Oh. Anyway, Valentine to me also sounds very different because also what I like is that they sing together. You can actually hear the different voices in the band on this record more than the other ones. Um, Compared to like Lie to Me and Want You Back, it definitely was different. It actually out of the pop lenient songs on this album, it sounds the most different to me. Besides the slower pace. So yeah, that surprised me as your number one, but it's not a bad choice. Like I said, there's not really a bad song on this album. Um, Next one, we're gonna go back a little bit. We're gonna talk about "Want You Back." It's it sounds different from Youngblood, so it's a very different transition. They do this little falsetto thing on the chorus, which I really like. Shawn Mendes did that a lot on his album too. It's definitely pop rocks to the max. He's basically talking about no matter what, he's gonna want this girl back, no matter what. And I don't know why they're not together, but he wants you back. Come back home. That's basically what this whole song's about. And it sounds like a different guy singing the lead. So I think they take turns singing the lead, which is also pretty cool. So what do you think of "Want You Back"?
One thing I really liked about this song was a high pitched "Want You Back" kicking in when the lead singer was singing, being done by the rest of the band, and I was like, well, I guess by backup singers. I'm not sure what was going on there, but I thought that part was like pretty impressive. I was like, oh man, that's like a nice little sound experiment you guys had going on there. That kind of like I'm kind of a sucker for. Cause listen, sometimes like not necessarily this song is not like ideal, but not like an ideal song to like say this, but sometimes backup singers can like sell the heck out of your song. Because a lot of times, I don't know for which album or song it was in particular, but there are a couple of songs that we went through where like the backup singers like had like a really like powerful like say gospel sound to it, and that's kind of I think even one point they might have even been on top three or honorable mention just because of like the backup singers, and I'm like, yo, granted the artist, the main like performer is like doing their job here, backup singer was like killing it here. But I was only pointing that out because they had like a little nice little spot like that as well, where they said in the same line, pretty much just "Want You Back." They're the ones taking care of the actual title of the song. Other than that, it went through pretty smooth. Shanique talking about Shawn Mendes was pretty on point too, because I'm like, yeah, Shawn Mendes definitely did kind of pull that off. Speaking of which, check out that podcast in case you haven't, just in case you're new here.
Yeah.
Shanique and I will appreciate that. But yeah, it was pretty dope.
Yeah, definitely. Shawn Mendes, good album. And about that other point you mentioned about artists that we did that had the gospel type thing, it was like there was like Todrick with All American. Definitely background singers carry that song. Kelly Clarkson, Rag and Bone Man, and I think one other person had that as well. With the backup singers, Sam Smith too.
Mm-hmm.
Also had the backup singers like really carry the chorus.
I
And
actually want to say it was a Sam Smith song too. Not the name is like ringing a bell. I'm gonna go through it again and come back in like 2 podcasts and be like, I know what song I was thinking about. It's gonna hit me in the middle of the night, just waking up in a cold sweat. But it's alright, y'all will find out.
so I thought that was pretty interesting. Going back to next one is "Lie to Me," which is the most upbeat but sad song at the same time. It's upbeat because of how they sang it, but sad for the lyrics. Like the relationship didn't work out, and he knows that this person still loves him, but he wants them to lie to them lied to them just so they can move on. And it's like, yeah, I'm bobbing my head and I'm listening to it, and it's not a really happy song. But the chorus is so catchy. But the lyrics are just the opposite of what they sold me. But a lot of people do that. Like one song that always comes to mind is City High. What would you do? Only reason because if you listen to the lyrics of that song and then you understand what they're saying, you're like, I shouldn't be dancing to this song. But yet you're like dancing to what would you do if your son was at home? And then you're like, yeah. But they're talking about some real shit here. But I did like that they did that. They talked about real things, but they didn't depress you at the same time. Now sometimes depressing could be good though. Just saying. But
Hello?
this can you hear me? Technical difficulties.
Okay, I think I'm here again. My Wi-Fi signal was going in and out for a sec.
Back to what I was saying. I like that they mixed up a sad topic with an upbeat beat. It made it took the impact off the topic, but I did like how it sounded. What do you think of "Lie to Me"?
It didn't come off as upbeat to me, but that's completely fine. It could just be what I'm interpreting it as. But I you're right. The lyrics not necessarily dark, but they're not necessarily something you should be like swaying back and forth to like you're having a good ass time or something like that. It's gonna be one of those ready to light up and like sway back and forth kind of things in my head. Well, at least considering the subject matter, because I'm just like, wait a second, I think I'm starting to catch on to what's happening here. Not sure if I'm okay with that, but I was completely fine. They took a lot of good spots in the song to show off the voice a little bit or his voice. I'm not sure. Now Shanika and paranoid with the one person singing because the entire time I went through the album I was like it's only one person singing. But now I'm paranoid. But yeah, they took a couple spots in the song to show off their voice a little bit, which is pretty good. They're not like super exceptional or nothing like that, but considering what they're good at, they don't necessarily need to be. Like they're fine at what they do here, and I'm still a fan of all the songs on the album, regardless. Especially this one right here too. So yeah, I'm completely fine with it.
Next one, "Talk Fast." It sounds like an old song. Like it sounds like something I would heard years ago. But I think that's part of the reason I like the song. Very simplistic beat, but it's still catchy. And to me, the chorus made the song really good. What do you think of "Talk Fast"?
Talk Fast was pretty cool. I do agree with you when you say the song came out like a while back. It does sound like one of those different era songs, and that they just kind of modernized it for themselves. I did get slight Maroon 5 vibes out of the song, and which is definitely a good thing because I was like, hey, this not necessarily like Adam's voice or nothing like that, but just the song overall. Cause they've kind of mastered using not necessarily older songs, but like older inspirations, should I say, for a lot of their songs, and it comes out pretty well. When they mesh it out into like a modern package, it kind of comes out really nice. Chorus here, excellent, but we're gonna sound like a broken record saying that the whole time. I do like the change of pace from the last one as well. I know that's not like necessarily like a criteria for grading a song and stuff like that, but it does just show that their ranges here. They're taking their time, using a bunch of different options to flesh out their album, and this one definitely helps.
Okay. Next one, "If Walls Could Talk," and it's basically like, keep my secrets, bro. Um, I love the first verse especially. I don't know, something about the way he sang the first verse that I really enjoy it. It's definitely a fun song to listen to, and it's such a smooth transition from moving along that I definitely enjoyed it. What do you think of "If Walls Could Talk"?
If walls could talk, another catchy one in my head still. I definitely dig this song. I thought originally it was going to be something else that they want to talk about because I
Ooh.
know
Oh.
very mature over here, very very mature, showing her age absolutely. But yeah, I thought it was going to honestly be about something else, and I was like,
What did you think it was gonna be about then? Hmm?
You know exactly. You know me well enough to know what I was thinking.
Okay,
I
then
thought it was
let's
going to
not
be
talk
about like
about
the walls.
mature then. Let's not talk
Well,
about mature.
I didn't say ooh. First of all,
But you
over here
thought
being
it.
a class clown.
I never thought
So
that
if I thought it, then why are you making noises?
because you said that, and I know you.
Oh, then you know what then you don't know what I was thinking. Then what are you asking? You know exactly what I was thinking. I think people listen to this album know what I was thinking. Listen, if if this title was an R&B album, this song would have meant something completely different. I'm telling you that right now. But yeah, other than that, the song itself, I think they did a good performance of it. Everything went through pretty much excellent with this song. I have nothing more to say on top of what Shanique said, other than the piggyback on her. But yeah, it was pretty dope.
True that. True that. You know, Michael's being a perv over there. But next
Wow,
song.
very much.
Next song is Better Man, which reminds me of this other song. I think it's called Better Man and it's by RL. And it's basically the same thing. In that RL song, he's like, loving you has made me a better man, but I mean, but she died in that one. I don't think she dead in this one. So this one, it's like the
Who's
rock
RL?
version of that. What?
Who's RL?
Lead singer of the R&B group Next. He went solo,
Oh, okay.
and that's actually his name,
Oh,
RL, and then whatever.
okay.
Anyway, switching back to 5 Seconds of Summer. Better Man to me is such a sweet song. It's about talking about love making them better, and it picks up quick though, because I think it was gonna be one, and then all of a sudden the beat changes and it's very quick, and the chorus come in, and it becomes such a fun song. But it's talking about like a sweet topic, and whoever this girl is, I guess she did what she was supposed to do. So yeah, I did enjoy Better Man though. Not as much as the one before it or the one after it, but I thought Better Man was still a very good song. What do you think of Better Man?
I'm a sucker for like this kind of this positive move that they made because a lot of times when you listen to a lot of like albums that we've gone through, when it comes to guys, it's like a lot of shade gets thrown at the homies. Okay, and when a song comes through like this, when it's like, all right, the girl's doing something positive for me, and I'm becoming better off of it. It's kind of like a mutual growth relationship here, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. And I feel like the display of that idea in the song kind of was a good showing for it as well. I'm like, oh, you guys are saying you're becoming better men due to whatever is going on in the relationship, which is pretty good. I mean, everybody's growing, everyone's happy. Y'all actually don't have any bad news for me, thank goodness, because Lord knows we got or pick of the litter when it comes to like songs where it's like, yo, this dude did me dirty, this dude ain't shit, this dude, he hurt me for the worst. Now I never gonna love again. So I'm just like, all right, bet. Finally, we have something going on here for us bros. So cool song.
Next one is, well, then it kind of switches because then it goes to Why Won't You Love Me?
Oh yeah,
With
there's also that.
someone broke his heart. I hope no one ever sings this song. It's not as slow as I thought that's based off the topic, but it's such a very good song to listen to, very good lyrics. It's kind of a little bit sad, but again, it's not sang in a way that's depressing. So you won't feel depressed after listening to it, but he's like, I did all this and I'm a good guy, but yet you don't love me. And I don't know why. So I'm asking the
Oh
question.
wow, that's a cool line there, Shanique.
I wasn't even trying to
I'm a
make a
good
line.
guy. Over here spitting bars on the podcast, guys. Y'all need to clip this shit.
No, I'm playing.
Stop. Okay, you had 15 seconds. You had your 15 seconds. It's over now. We can move on.
But yeah, Why Won't You Love Me is a very good song, and it's surprising how not slow it is. Like, to me, it doesn't sound like a slow song based on the topic. What do you think of Why Won't You Love Me?
Won't Love Me was pretty cool too. Interesting transition. Obviously, I think there's the one between them. I think I'm not sure.
It was after more.
Okay, Gotcha. So there was one between. That's what I figured. But yeah, interesting transition because I was like, I feel like I got to backtrack a little bit when I just said, "Hey, I'm glad everyone said these guys are doing this thing now," and I was like, "Now guys are doing their thing, and they're not being appreciated for it." Boy, whatever. I ain't gonna put it out there like that because it's actually is a nice song. It's about putting your heart on your sleeve and giving it all you got. You can't force nobody to love you. I'm not gonna get into the politics of the actual lyrics and nothing like that, but the song itself was sang really well. Um, it's definitely fit the mold for what these guys are good at right now too. Because compared to the slower paced songs from earlier in the album, like one of the ones I like the most, Valentine. You realize that they do a pretty good job with this kind of pace here. So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Moving on to, in my opinion, the slowest song on the album, "Ghost of You."
Oh yeah.
And it's, to me, is actually my honorable mention. It's such a sweet song. Um, but it sounds like a song from the early 2000s. Like I could see like Nickelback singing this type of song. It's a rock ballad all the way through. I love the part at the end where you mostly hear the guy singing, and there's like maybe a little piano or whatever it was at the end, and I love that. And his vocal sound is so good on it. So yeah, "Ghost of You" is actually like a really cool song. What do you think of "Ghost of You"?
I pretty much just put this down as what you said earlier. A really good rock ballad. I think it was done pretty well. I thought it was supposed to be on one of those drama TV shows that used to
Yes,
come on back in like
exactly.
the mid 2000s.
Mhm.
Um, I know Shanique knows all about that. See how she over here interject like, yes, exactly. I know about those, the One Tree Hills and the Dawson's Creeks and the
Yeah, those
whatnots.
are my shit.
Yeah, you can't talk circles around Shanique with that stuff right there. She put up a fight. But anyways, I feel like it fits in right there the most because it's like this song. It sounds familiar, not necessarily like not like Google Dolls or City of Angels, nothing like that. But it's pretty good. They do a pretty good job, like I said from earlier, meshing different era sounds with what they with pretty much like modern music or like with their style of music. I guess I have not been through another one of their albums, but I'm assuming that if they did the same kind of quality here on the other albums, I kind of get why they're a pretty big deal.
Next one, "Monster Among Men." And
Be like
basically, hey, I'll let you get your shine on if you want to sing.
no, no, no.
Okay,
I'm not
okay.
like you. I got bars.
"Monster Among Men" is basically a song about not being an asshole, and I, in a poetic way though. And the song was like going one direction, and then it did this like quick upbeat turn all of a sudden on the chorus, and then it just stayed there, and I thought that was pretty cool. The guitar on the chorus is so good, like, because the chorus is like one line and then they play guitar and it's like continuously like that, and it caught me by surprise. I ended up liking the song more than I thought I would. So definitely, I Monster Among Men is such a good track. And to me, I would have closed the album on this instead of Babylon, but that's neither
I
here nor
have that here too. I honestly have that here too. I
there.
completely agree. Because my thing about Monster Among Men is it's another really good hybrid song, similar to the intro. And I was like, hey, this is where the song album ends, right? And I was like, oh crap, I'm at number 15 of 16. God damn it, I missed it. But that's completely fine. It's not necessarily a loss because I still like Babylon anyway. But Monster Among Men was pretty dope. I do like the little they kind of like sectioned off where their rock and where their pop was. But like it was pretty cool with the transition that happened anyway. I Was this a song that you thought I was going to use for my number one?
Yes, it was one of them. Yes.
Yeah, this one also fought crazy hard for a top four spot. I forgot what my honorable mention was too. I'm pretty sure no, it was Woke Up in Japan actually. But yeah, this one fought really hard to get there as well. There's not necessarily much of an elimination process here, guys. It's a strictly opinion, but I highly suggest if you go through this one, you can't. You're obviously not hearing the song on this podcast, but if you hear this podcast before you hear the actual album itself, definitely like keep your mind open to a lot of these songs. A lot of them are really hard to pick your actual like favorites out of it, or maybe the whole damn album is just favorite thing. Like who cares? But yeah, definitely Monster Amendment is a pretty nice pick. Very respectable that Shanique thought it was my number one. It actually probably would be worth the number one too, to be honest. But that's completely fine. Moving on right along.
Next one is Meet You There. It's a fun song. The chorus is the best part, in my opinion. Oddly enough, I think this chorus is mostly instrumental. And for some reason, it reminded me of Rocket Power. For some odd reason.
What?
No, the theme song of Rocket Power. Not Rocket Power as in the show. If you hear the theme song, it reminds me of Meet You There. At least the chorus part of it. And I was just like, it sounds like something that would be played years ago. Not something that would be played now. But rock is one of those genres where it's timeless and it sounds the same for years. It's not like R&B or like pop or anything. Like a lot of rock songs sound like they could have been played years ago. They just blend, which I'm perfectly fine with this song blending as well. I thought Meet You There was really good as well. What do you think of Meet You There?
The song was pretty interesting. I don't know how she got rocket power out of it, but that's completely fine.
I
It's up to
already
interpretation.
explained that. You shouldn't have been
No, it's
listening.
just no. I was, but I'm like, you know, even though I heard you out, I'm just like, yeah, I gotta go back to the song and see if I missed something here, because now I'm like hooked on hearing the song one more time to be sure. Because I'm like, do I not remember the Rocket Power theme intro or something? Whatever. Maybe I'm the one going crazy here, guys. That doesn't happen once in a while, okay? Welcome to the podcast. Now you know how the shit works. Anyways, Meet You There. Pretty interesting song. I do like the sound that they went for this one. Another good hybrid song. Did pretty excellent on the chorus. It had some decent pacing to it as well. And because I think they got their slow mo, not slow mo, but like their slower pace songs out of the way. Left like the last part for a bit of more of a punchy sound to like leave you with an impression with, which I don't know if that was on purpose, but it worked in my favor because I do like that kind of stuff. But yeah, went pretty smooth for me.
And the final song we're going to talk about is Babylon. Babylon is a cool song. Like I said, I would have ended on Monster Among Men. From Ghost of You, I would have put Babylon, then Meet You There, then Monster Among Men, and I would have closed this album. But Babylon is still a very cool song. They sound amazing on it. Um, it's not the best song on the album, but to me, the worst song in this album is still 10 times better than a lot of the shit that we hear on the radio. So I would definitely listen to Babylon over again. And also, I think this song also had another crazy beat switch. Like, it started off one way, and then all of a sudden it said, nah, this is what we about to do. And I really did like it. So, yeah. What do you think of Babylon?
Babylon was cool. I do like the little weird like electro switch that they did in the chorus when they actually said Babylon. I was like, okay, I guess that's we're doing like whatever the hell we feel like here today. We're just gonna push all the switches on the soundboard and see what works, and I guess it did. It doesn't really sound like a hodgepodge or nothing like that because it's still a pretty like mostly rock song to end on, which is completely fine. I'm not disappointed with it. I just in my ideal world, I'd still like Monster My Man. I do agree with Shanique. However, still an excellent song. Still, actually, one of my runners for my top three as well. That's how much I actually still liked it. Organization wise, I can't knock a song for that. Even though I know on some albums I do that for. This one's completely fine because at least it's like it was consistent all the way through. So I couldn't really like say, hey, you could at least done this if the rest of your album is gonna fucking suck. But whatever. Who am I? I'm just a guy with an opinion here. That's pretty much how I feel about Babylon though. Nice way to send me off. It did leave a good impression on me for what 5 Seconds of Summer do sound like, and maybe might be worth a revisit to see what what else I missed on this album here.
Yeah. All right. Before I get my closing remarks, a little background on 5 SOS. They're an Australian band.
I didn't know that.
And their album, the one that we're reviewing, debuted at number 1 in both their home country and the United States of America.
Hey.
So, and they're considered pop rock, pop punk, pop power pop, which I don't even know what the hell power pop is.
Power pop.
Yep.
Power pop. Power pop girls. Okay, let me stop.
Anyway,
I'll leave it
and
off.
then just normal pop. So, and there's 4 groups, so I don't really know why they're called 5 Seconds of Summer. But yeah, a little background on that. As for my closing remarks, I say this album is worth buying. Support the artist. I think you would definitely be surprised at how good this album was, like me and Michael were. And if you're not gonna buy it, at least stream because they get paid from that as well. Support the artist. This album was worth it to me. Michael, closing remarks.
Dope album. Didn't know much about him. Glad I listened to it. Check it out.
All right.
My remarks have been closed.
All right, cool. Hit us up on Twitter at Echo U Podcast. Let us know what you guys think of this album. Were we tripping or do you agree with us? You can also find us on any social media sites, including YouTube and Facebook. And if you want to listen to us on your phone, we're on basically all podcasting apps. All of that under Echo Underground Podcast. And we will see you guys on the next episode. Bye.
See ya.